G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have, yes, the newest piece from OLTO-8. This is still a pre-release Kickstarter to come out very soon. So, spinability rating. Actually, this is not too bad. I think that's at least a 3 out of 5 in terms of its box spin rating there. Okay, so the box, currently they've come up with these things. Please excuse the beautiful birds in the background, but that's where the manual would sit. And then I'm gonna take out the watch in a travel case, which is kind of handy actually. I like that they provide a travel case, which you may find useful for any watch you want to put in a suitcase or whatever. So taking this out and really just showing you guys this watch in closer detail. So this, guys, is the OLTO-8 King. So this is the King with the satellite 3D hour wheel. That's the kind of the full mouthful of a name here. An automatic watch is what this is. And you can see that spinning disc in the middle indicating the seconds. And there are 4 suits there, and I'll talk about that a bit later. So, in terms of Kickstarter price, I actually haven't received the information on that. They haven't released it yet, but I will put a screenshot right here for you to see what the Kickstarter prices are, and hopefully they will be fairly digestible without causing too much heartburn. Right, first up, let's talk about the movement, as I usually do. So the movement in here is the 9039, the Miyota high beat movement. Specs down the side there. It is actually the same movement in other wandering hour hands of this form that I have reviewed in the channel before. It does have hacking and manual winding in this case, but of course it is a very, very highly modified hand there that sweeps 120 degrees per hour and has that very complicated design, which I'll show you a bit later. In use, you can't actually tell very easily because the chapter ring is actually so finely tuned there. It's a very, very small chapter track there. So I do find it quite difficult to figure out exactly how accurate this watch is. On the time grapher, it reads +8 seconds per day, which is well within the limitations and specs of the Miyota 9000 series movements. Okay, let's talk about the case then. So the case here is a 39mm case. Okay, the width is 39mm, 13.6 millimeters, but that's because part of that is that high dome sapphire, which I reckon adds at least 2 millimeters to the height there. 20mm lugs, and a lug distance that is roughly 46.7 millimeters between my thumbnails there. Okay, the case finish is fully brushed. Okay, fully brushed, and I will mention the weight as well. I haven't had a chance to weigh this yet, and I'll put the weight down the bottom here, but I reckon this will be 80 grams or below. Very light because it is actually a fairly small watch on leather strap. Very comfortable and easy to forget this type of weight, I reckon. So, apart from the fully brushed, I will mention that it's got a curved and stepped bevel here. Bezel, right? There's a bit of a bevel curviness here on that bezel, and a very curvy case, I have to say. Lugs, case side, all that is very curvy and pretty nicely done, and the high polish is probably appropriate for a watch like this, I reckon. Okay, there's a circular brushing on that case back. It's a screw down case back, and it's a solid case back with a push sign crown, and with that construction they've actually managed to put a 50-meter water resistant rating on this watch, which is, I think, probably more than I expect. I think if they had it at 30 meters, I think this would be okay. I wouldn't blink twice, because this is not a watch you are going to be taking into water sports by any means. All right, in terms of the dial, so let's talk about dial action here now. This is a very hyper 3-dimensional construction dial. There is a depressed center there with a blue surround, with the blue theme of this watch. It's got a race gray area around the side there with a dual level 120 degree chapter track. It's not a chapter ring, I guess I call it a chapter track, and the hours sweep across 120 degrees at a time instead of the full 360 on the typical Miyota movement, right? Obviously a very, very highly modified movement, hyper engineered triple arm wandering hour handset. Now you've seen this in a couple of the Atawak watches that I've seen before, that I've reviewed before, but this is the first that OLTO-8 have done there, and it's integrated into a skeleton disc there, which I call it a skeleton snowflake. That's what it looks like to me, but let me know what you think that kind of integrated disc surrounding those hands are. Now in terms of Lume, it's got BGW9 on the hands, the second disc, as well as the chapter track for a very interesting Lume signature, and of course I'll show it to you guys right here to see how it looks like in the dark. Not very long glowing, but it does glow, you know, like an hour or so into the night. Okay, now moving on then. Before I talk about the crystal, I just want to show you the action of the hands here, okay, in case you haven't seen a watch like this before. So the hands change over at the 6 o'clock position. So they've actually made it so that the 1 is represented by the A or the ace, and the 11 is the jack, and the Q is the queen, 12 is the queen. Where is the king? Well, they say the king is you. It's not represented on the watch because you are the king. So take that, you know, understand that what you will, take up that what you will. Some people will find that a little bit tacky. So as you change it, you can see, right, the numbers change down the bottom. And you can see like that would be indicating roughly 3:30 now. Okay, so that's how you tell the time, and that's how the hands kind of change over in this pretty, you know, pretty funky design. You know, I really do like this hour, you know, wandering hour syringe or space needle type of structure here, if you want to call it that. Right. Okay. So it's got a high dome sapphire, pretty nice. I quite like the dome on this sapphire. It's really quite nice. Not clearly not just a straight OEM. You have to have some level of, you know, customization, deliberate design here, and I like how, you know, it really does accentuate, you know, the overall look of this watch. All right, moving on to the strap then. So this is a simple stitched blue crocodile pattern leather here. Nothing to write home about really. You know, it's got you know, their typical polished hardware, and it's got quick release bars there. So nice little touch. You know, allows you to swap other straps in quickly if that's what you want to do. Okay, that's it. That's the description of the watch. Let's put on the wrist for a wrist shot for you guys now. And there we have it, the OLTO-8 King, right, automatic watch, the Wandering Hour 3D satellite hand. What a mouthful of a name. Hopefully they just stay with OLTO-8 King, I reckon. So remember, it's 13.6 high. Now the lug to lug distance is only 46.7. It's only a 39mm watch, so it really fits most guys well, I think. And that's how it looks like on that blue leather. The blue is pretty bright. I think the blue, you know, obviously is matching the blue theme of this watch, and it does so fairly nicely. Okay, now let's talk about, you know, how have I enjoyed this watch. So guys, you know, I think, you know, it is a pretty cool design. It's a courageous design, certainly some originality here. I don't know if this is copying any famous brand directly. I haven't seen anything exactly like this, so I'm going to say it looks original to me. I like the dial design, you know, obviously the 120-degree arc time indicator. There's some originality and difference in that, even though it's not the first watch I've seen, you know, in maybe not even from OLTO-8 actually, but, you know, it's their first Wandering Hour design like that. It is modern and fairly unique in terms of the design, and overall a pretty good conversation starter. You know, I have to say, you know, people do look at this and wonder what in the world is going on with that triple hand design there. It's fairly good spec. You know, I think it's got a good case design. You know, maybe it's OEM, but I suspect it probably isn't completely OEM here. It's a good case. It's got a great sapphire dome here. I really like that feature. And of course, you're getting the Miyota 9000 movement rather than, you know, a cheaper alternative. And I have to say that, you know, that seconds disc there is pretty cool idea. You know, I mean, it's got that diamond that's colored in this watch. Now each different version, blue for diamonds, green for clubs, black for spades, and red for hearts, of course. You know, each of them will have a different suit that's colored in there, and you can, you know, see the pictures I'll try to put up here for comparison with the 4 different versions here, and you know, that's some originality there, I think. In terms of weaknesses, I think there's not much to gripe about really. You know, I think, you know, perhaps the playing card scheme may be a little bit contrived. I think really only the suits play apart here in that middle seconds disc. If you change that to something else, well, this could be anything. You can make this, you know, tell any story you want, really. So it's really slightly contrived there, I think. I think the Lume could be better. The Lume is really relatively poor, and if you're going to go Lume, maybe do it a bit better than they have here. And overall, I reckon the reception will very much depend on the price they can do on the Kickstarter. What do I reckon will be a good price? Look, I think if they can do $3.99 on the lowest tier early bird price, this would be pretty good. I suspect they're going to have to push it a little bit higher because it's not cheap to make this complicated handset here. I mean, keep in mind the Etowac Ettore was $550 for this handset, and the Cobra, Etowac Cobra, that's a $2,000 ask. So, you know, let me know what you think this might be, and let me know your reactions when you see the actual Kickstarter price that will be launched very soon. So guys, there you go, my review of the OLTO-8 King automatic watch. Let me know your thoughts below. Look forward to the comments and conversations. Thank you again for sticking with me, and I'll see you guys next time.